Hey guys, how's it going? It's Logan Hall back with another grill stream. So today we are making chicken tortilla soup. So that might sound like a pretty simple dish on the surface level, but um, knowing me, I'm gonna kind of make this again, sort of not sort of way harder than it needs to be, but just uh, more sort of authentic. Just sort of again, sort of everything from scratch, right? So that's sort of what I go by here. So, what I want to do real quick is I will go ahead and turn on the camera and show you everything that's going to be involved today. So, let me camera. Okay, that's me. Let's settings, camera, front camera, back. Let's do this one. Okay. So this is what I have going on today, guys. Oops. Let me go back. Hey, sorry about that. It probably went black for a moment, but yeah, this is what we have going on today, guys. So again, a lot is going to be involved, but this is how I prefer to cook. This is something that I enjoy doing, and of course, I know that like 99% of my audience, may not go to this much detail for cooking, but this is who I am, right? So anyway, let's just kind of take a tour real quick of everything we have here. I've got my spices right here. We're going to use this to fry the tortilla strips later on. The Dutch oven, sorry, the Dutch oven is where we're going to do sort of most of the cooking today. I've got black beans, cilantro. There will be at least 45 minutes worth of cilantro chopping. So just sort of strap in, OC. Corn, of course. You got tons of different peppers. I got bell peppers. I got some serrano, poblano, cayenne. So again, a lot going on. The only reason why we have this stand mixer out here is this is actually going to be to shred the chicken later on. I do have a blender for kind of well, okay. So with the peppers, what we're going to do is we're going to char them on the grill, and then we're going to actually like blend them in the blender here, and so that will give the the soup like a bit more body and a bit more flavor too. I got some chicken there. Don't worry, I just put that out just like a couple minutes ago. So it's like it hasn't been sitting there for too long. Um, and also, we are also going to be using my propane grill today for the tortilla portion. So double grill action today, guys. You guys are in for a treat. And then finally, I also have typed up. I might have doxed my email there, but anyway, I have essentially typed up my own recipe here. So like again, like so usually sort of my sort of philosophy here in terms of using recipes versus not. I think when you're starting out, you definitely need to um, sort of do a lot of sort of recipes, right? And like you need to kind of like follow the instructions, right, and just kind of understand why are you using this ingredient over like another, right? So it's good to have those basics down, but I think ultimately um, whenever you've been cooking for a while and you generally know sort of what's to be expected, and sort of whatnot, you can play around. You can start to experiment, right? Um, so I'm at that point now. I'm at that sort of point where I like to like make food or sort of make a recipe my own, and not strictly follow like instructions or whatever. But so for example, for my recipe, I actually so I mean I took the chicken seasoning from a different recipe um versus the actual sort of cooking part from a different recipe. Um, so again, so try to sort of mix and match and sort of make food sort of like your own thing, right? Um, so with that, I think what we'll go ahead and do is we need to get the fire started first. So let's go ahead and get that started. I'm going to take, so these are the deflector plates, and this is more for when you're going to be smoking stuff. So you don't want like the full wrath of the fire necessarily. So those plates will actually kind of help the fire, get to a more sort of manageable level, for sort of a lower temperature. So I'm going to slip on my gloves, and we're going to go ahead and put some charcoal here. I'll put my gloves over here. I got my gloves. All right, so let's go ahead and put in some charcoal. More than plenty there. But I think that'll actually, yeah, that's actually perfect. Um, I'm also going to use one of these tumbleweeds. Um, and I'll just kind of put that right there. That just kind of keeps the fire going, I guess, while you're getting it started, rather than like sit there with a torch for like, 2 minutes. Uh, the tumbleweed kind of takes care of the fire being there when you're not there. I don't know if that makes sense. I just realized my torch is actually inside, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab. And also, guys, while we go through this recipe, or for like this stream today, I will be looking at my notes. This is actually probably one of the most involved, uh, I guess, cooks that I've done sort of on these streams. When I was typing this up last night, I think I counted like 22 steps. Um, and there's a certain sort of reason why I'm doing certain things at a certain time. So I'm just gonna make sure. Let's. Uh, yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do sort of a two rack system here. So we're gonna have one rack towards the bottom. Actually, you know what? We can actually do it. Uh, so this is where the chicken will go, but we're also going to be charring some veggies here. Um, and we want to put that towards the bottom. So before I put this down, let's go ahead and get the fire lit. Oh, and actually, sorry, there's one more thing. Because we're smoking today, I like to use a bit of like wood chunks as well in here. So I'm going to grab a few of those real quick. You guys, one thing I'm going to do real quick. Um, I'm actually going to paste the link to my real stream in the chat real quick. Yeah, here we go. Copy. And by the chat, I mean the WhatsApp group. So let's. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and put the gloves back on again. Safety first. And let's take a few of these chunks. We don't need much, like maybe like 2 or 3. So this is a hickory wood. Hickory is a good, like if you don't want too much smoke, hickory is a good option. Um, but if you want a lot of smoke, you need to use a mesquite. Um, so that's a very strong sort of smoky flavor. But again, sort of hickory and sort of oak are sort of more sort of mild smoke, I guess. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, and I'm gonna get in there pretty good here. I don't know if all right, so you guys can see that pretty well. So I'm just gonna do this for about 30 to 45 seconds or so. Flip around. Pretty good to me. Um, Again, there's not like an obvious flame right now, but the embers will continue to, get sort of hotter and hotter, and um, then we'll be in business here. So I mentioned that the chicken is going to go here. I'm actually going to slide one more rack, wrong way. I'm going to slide one more rack in here. I think I missed it. All right. And I'm going to put the deflector plate right here. Again, we don't necessarily want a lot of direct heat coming straight to the chicken. We kind of just want to smoke it, right? But what we will do is we're going to um, actually I could probably put one more here. That's yeah. There's the okay. I'll put one more plate here. Okay. Finally, let's do the more of the like a searing plate or a grate, I should say, plate grate. Kind of go together. I actually had a tool for this. I'm not even using it. What is this hung on? Okay, sometimes it can be hard to get these in here. Uh, let's start like that. There we go. I think that's pretty much, yeah, that'll work. Um, so let's let the fire get up to temperature here. Again, chicken's gonna go here, and then we're gonna do some searing of some veggies right here. Um, so let's go ahead, close this. We'll open up the lid here so that we have, plenty of airflow going through to get the fire really going. Um, but let's let this get up to temperature. And what I'm going to do now is season the chicken. Um, so let me find a good spot to put you guys in here. Why is this not going up? Actually, that's probably fine. Do we have anybody in the chat? Not yet. No worries. All right, so let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick before we work with the chicken. I probably, I mean, Again, I mean, we'll have to wash them again, sort of, afterwards, obviously, but I don't want to have like charcoaly hands while we're working with the chicken here. So I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, let's season some chicken here. I meant to grab four breasts, but I only grabbed a bag out of my freezer that had three. Unfortunately, I thought there was four, but oh well. Um, so we'll work with what we have here. Um, let's just sort of checking my notes here, making sure we're still roughly at the right spot. Yeah. All right. So what we'll go ahead and do. So I had these wrapped up just to get all the juices off. I do want to talk about one myth real quick regarding chicken. Um, I see a lot of people washing their chicken before they work with it. Um, I don't agree with that. I think all you need is just some paper towels, and then just sort of dab them off. Um, the problem is, I'm sorry, I'm going to kind of walk away, so maybe you can't hear me. So the problem is, um, when you wash chicken, that water is going to splash onto sort of other surfaces around the sink. So it's going to splash onto you. It's going to splash on sort of anything else that you have sort of nearby the sink. I think again, sort of all you need to do. I mean, if you're freaked out about like the ooey sort of sort of like the gooiness, right? Just really sort of dab it down, and I mean, you'll be fine. So. Is this a good angle for you guys? Can you clearly see me? I just want to check what the stream looks like. Um, let's just see what the stream looks like on my phone real quick. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty good angle. So we got three people watching. Thank you guys for spending your Saturday with me. Appreciate it. Um, so let's go ahead and take a look here. I first want to give it just a little bit of olive oil, just so that the seasoning just kind of better sort of adheres to the chicken. Oh man, I mean, I definitely smell that hickory wood. That's a really nice smell. Um, so let's go ahead and get some seasonings here. Paprika is first. So where paprika? I don't know. Probably just stand up for this. Um, Again, I'm not really using any sort of exact sort of measurements here. I'm just gonna like load it on, and then I'm gonna just just smush it all up. Just make sure everything gets in there nice and evenly. Um, so we now have kosher salt. Again, we'll do the other side too, but just starting out. Um, Now, here's an interesting ingredient that you probably would not normally see or use. This is called MSG, or monosodium glutamate. So this is commonly used in Chinese food to make like kind of brings out sort of like that sort of umami flavor. So so if you've never heard of what that is, it's basically kind of like the next level of flavor, basically. Um, so I'm also going to do a combination of black pepper and white pepper. Okay. Garlic powder. Onion powder. Did I bring onion powder? You know what? I did not bring onion powder. Let me grab it. Just one moment. Just when you thought you got everything, you missed something. So, actually, let's put that back. Onion powder. Let's put that back. Dried oregano. I'm actually running low on this. I need a bit more. Just a hint of cayenne pepper. Just again, so this stuff is strong, so don't use a lot if you don't like a lot of heat. Thyme, right? Oh, I'm doing oregano. Sorry. So that one's going to get a little bit more oregano. Okay. And a little bit of brown sugar. So this is kind of like the wild card ingredient here. But it'll give it a nice sweet flavor to kind of balance out all the heat. So add a bit more oil. And I'm just going to smush this all together. Kind of like put the tops on each other a little bit. Make sure it's all even. Again, so this is why I'm using a separate cutting board for this, so that you can sort of like the sort of like the chicken part kind of stays as is, and it doesn't affect the cutting board below it. So that's fairly there, but again, I want to hit this other side with a bit more as well. So I'm going to wipe off my hands a little bit. Paprika. Salt. MSG. The first wild card. A little bit too much there, but oh well. Black pepper. Okay. What's this? White. Garlic powder. There's a bee here that wants all this delicious food, but I'll kind of avoid him for now. I was deathly afraid of bees growing up. I absolutely ran like a little girl from them. But you know, I mean, if they bother me, then okay, yeah. I mean, it's a sting. I'm like it hurts for a second, but not a huge deal, right? let's see, we just did onion powder. Let's do oregano. Just a hint of cayenne. That was a bit more than a hint on that one, but oh well. Dry thyme. You know, I mean, I actually almost did the same thing again. I almost put the oregano on it again. But, and finally, a little bit of the brown sugar. The second sort of wild. Okay. So I'm gonna add more oil here. Again, the purpose of the oil is just making sure everything adheres. And I'm just gonna really just toss these around. Make sure that really all surfaces have, just make sure that all surfaces are fairly evenly coated. I think we're good. So, get a paper towel here and let's these on the grill. Let's actually see what temperature we're at. We're at about 400, just a hair under 400. Again, because we put the deflector plates up here, then it should be okay. But let's go ahead and just put those up there. You know what? I should have gotten a pair of tongs. Let me go back and get that real quick. I will be right back. Yeah, and like I'll also wash my. All right, guys, thank you for being patient with me. I also brought in a meter probe. I think we don't want this chicken to get overcooked by any means. We still want it to be like kind of soft when we take it out, like not sort of necessarily sort of undercooked, but you know we're going to pull these off at about 155 to 160. Um, you know what? I might have even pulled off just a little bit earlier than that because they're going to finish cooking in the soup itself. And we don't want to get these overcooked. So let's get that off to the side here. Uh, let's position these a little bit. Let me do this. Put that down. I did see we have some comments there, so I will get to you guys in just a moment there. Thank you for joining. Uh, yeah, that'll not bad. That's in. Got to keep this close by to the chicken, um, but let's kind of reposition these a little bit just to give everybody a bit more room. You know what? I don't know if like a fourth breast would have sort of fit there anyway. So I mean, it's actually sort of kind of a good thing that we didn't get the fourth one there. Um, but anyway, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna char some of these peppers up. But for actually take that back. Let me set up the meter cook for the chicken. You know what? And I'm also going to close these vents just a little bit. Let me close this just for a moment. We'll kind of keep it like that. So that's going to bring it down to a more reasonable temperature. Okay, I do have my chat now. So, hey, Boston is first, baby. Hey, thank you. Yeah, Boston. I mean, it's a nice day here in Nashville. It's high 70s, low 80s. So that's really nice. And guys, check this out. I got my first Royal Oak. Pretty cool, huh? Um, but what knife brand is that? Yeah, so let me show you that, Boston. So um, the brand of this knife is called a Con knife. So I mean, I watch uh, Kenji J sort of Lopez alt. So he's a really good cook, sort of based out of. He used to be in the Bay Area, but I believe he moved up like to Washington, kind of close to where George is. But this is a Damascus steel knife. It was I don't know, like $150 maybe. But yeah, I like it, and it's kind of my all-purpose chef knife. Okay, so we're getting back down to kind of what I want here. We're kind of dropping back down to about that 350 mark. I would ideally like this to be maybe closer like to 325, but uh, let's just go ahead and take sort of what we can get for now. I'm going to set up the meter probe. Let's see where that went. Meter. There we go. Meter. Sometimes this takes. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky to actually connect, but okay. Thankfully, this is working right. So we'll select. You know what? I can actually show you this since I'm using two phones here. So let's do poultry, chicken, breast. This is actually pretty cool. I have not seen this before. You can now select what appliance you're doing. So I'm actually going to pick charcoal grill, and uh, let's do 155. Okay, and let me see here. Just let me make sure that comments 10. Yeah, Shinzitsu. That's right. Let's see who else we have in the chat here. Okay, so we talked about Boston. Hey, OC is here. Yes, OC. There's going to be at least 45 minutes of cilantro chopping today, so buckle up. Diego, we are making chicken tortilla soup. So let me kind of go back over here and just kind of show off a few things. These were the seasonings that I was using for the chicken. We're going to make most everything in this sort of Dutch oven. There's a bee there, but we're not going to bother him. A lot of this. Okay. So here's OC's favorite part: cilantro. We're going to do corn. There's black beans here. We're now actually going to roast these peppers. So there's a few different peppers. There's some serrano, poblano, cayenne pepper. So again, it's like the idea is we will roast a lot of these peppers, as well as the Roma Roma tomatoes, actually. They're all going to get roasted on here, and then we're going to throw that into a blender here. And then that's going to kind of act as like the body of our soup. Um, so let's do that. So first, what we need to do, I'm just going to kind of roughly clean off this cutting board. Again, I use two cutting boards here. Uh, if you're just now joining, there was a white one here that I did just for the chicken by itself. And then I left this one clean so that um, we have a clean working space for chopping all the veggies. Um, so that's fairly clean now. So let's get our arsenal out here. But we're also going to roast the corn here too, actually. We might have to do the corn like in one batch sort of by itself and then do sort of all this stuff in a separate batch. But we have poblano, we have tomato, or we're going to keep the tomato sort of as is, actually. We're not really going to cut that out. I'm actually going to leave one tomato more for like garnish. I'm trying to remember what these are called. I think they're literally just called red chilies, but I could be wrong. And then the serrano, I don't think we're going to roast yet because we're going to put this in the actual sort of like, you know, dice it up like and actually put that into the soup itself. So let's get the chopping here. But let's make sure I'm caught up on the chat here. Okay, so we're already at about 100 on the chicken. So probably here in a moment, I might actually flip them just to see how they're doing. Let's go back to the chat real quick. SE is here. Hey, it looks far more tasty over here. Hey, thank you, man. Who else? Yeah, minced cilantro, Boston. Okay. Okay. So we got a good crowd here. Again, guys, thank you so much for sort of joining me and sort of spending time on your Saturday with me. Again, sort of, this is what I love doing, right? I mean, I know that, you know, people like OC look at this and he's like, how the fuck can he spend all this time on cooking? But, you know, this is what I'm passionate about. So let's kind of toss the, you know, I mean, I really should have brought out like a second, like kind of like scraps bowl, but we're not going to dice these up or anything. I just want like the actual sort of, you know, flesh or whatever, like the skin ready to go. Yeah, I mean, it's nice today. You know, Boston, sort of going back to what you were saying about the weather. It's, you know, sort of high 70s, low 80s here in Nashville. This is much better weather than we had when I was doing my last cook. That was the tacos sort of al pastor. It was actually kind of rainy that day, and that was sort of when the hurricane was coming over. So again, wasn't ideal conditions. Whoop, almost lost that one. But again, we will keep these as is as well. And what I'm going to do for the poblano is kind of just slice it straight down the middle. You definitely should probably wear gloves when you're dealing with peppers, especially just like the hotter ones. Just because these little sort of white things, these are called the capsicum, and that is what produces all the heat for a pepper. So yeah, so definitely don't really touch those if you can help yourself, but sometimes people are dumb and they do it anyway. But let's go ahead and what I'll do actually real quick. Okay, awesome. So we're now down to like a nice temperature here. We're at about like 315-ish. What we'll do now, actually, let's keep that there. You know, I mean, I'll probably do the oil actually when I put them on, just to make things easier. So, I will put you guys here. Let's get our gloves on. And you know what? I need a plate to actually put these on. Or actually, you know what? No, I don't. Let me get the blender here. So this is what we'll put it in when they're done. Um, so again, safety first, kids. Don't don't play with fire. All right. So the chicken is already looking pretty nice. What I'll do is we're going to go ahead and put these guys on. Um, you know what? I will open up this vent a little bit more um, because we kind of want the flame to actually be, touching it here. I'm putting this inside down because that's the part that we want to get charred. Um, just almost lost this guy. That would have been a shame. Okay, so we'll do the corn in another batch. Let's just focus on uh, getting all the peppers done for now. All right, there we go. Now we have the flames again. Again, I think I've mentioned it before, but the way that these grills work is there's sort of two vents. You have this vent right here, which allows air to go inside, and that hits the charcoal and the wood, and then there's a vent up sort of top here as well. But to really get sort of like that sort of char or whatever, um, like you really want to control like the bottom one down there. Um, so let's finish putting these on. Again, skin side down. I'm probably going to do the tomato uh, separately. Um, I mean, I'll do that with the corn actually. And I think we just have barely enough room for these red ones. Again, I actually forgot the name of these, but they're going to be good sort of regardless. I will just kind of splash this with a little bit of oil here. So let's check that out, guys. How does that look? Looking pretty good, huh? So while we take a look at this, let's go back to the chat real quick to see where are the Carolina Reapers. Oh man. Sorry, let's scroll up here. Dachshund username Logan's Fat Meat 84. Hey, I mean, I do definitely have some fat meat, but where the meat is, I'm not gonna actually disclose that. OC, sorry, guys, come back at 3:30 Eastern, and the Reaper pepper should be sliced and ready for grilling. Yeah, no, we're not doing Reapers, man. Um, Shout out to Reaper crew. Uh, what do you call a person from the University of Tennessee who volunteers at a toy drive? I don't know, Boston. That's a good question. Is that girl stamped or is it? I would say it's more of like a guilloche. OC. Um, I like the engraving on the chicken. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Logan's gloves are from Weber and Marvel Spider-Man. Yes, they do kind of remind you of Spider-Man a little bit. I'm gonna drop this down a little bit. Yeah. And let's check on these. I think they need to put. Okay. Yeah, these are getting some char here. Go on. Oop, we almost lost him. Almost lost that guy. So what I'm going to do, you know what, let's just go ahead and put them in here. We're going to put them in the blender. Um, and if I remember to later, we'll kind of scrape some of that char off. Um, but again, and a little char is not going to hurt. Um, yeah, that's fine too. How are these guys? Yeah, these guys are good too. Yeah, could use maybe just a little bit more. Oh, you know what? Screw it. We need to make room for the tomatoes. Let's go ahead and put that guy on. The thing with tomatoes too, like you can like blanch these and then sort of take the skin off if you don't like the skin or whatever. But I think that just makes things a little bit too complicated for my liking. So we're going to do the same thing with these guys. We'll give them a couple minutes here and there, um, and then we'll throw those into the peppers there, and then I'm actually going to close the lid on it so that so that you know if I do decide to actually do the peeling of like the pepper skins later on, then those will kind of release sort of more easily. Um, but anyway, let's see what these are looking like now. Yeah. So they're starting to get a little bit blistered. Some nice grill marks. So we'll let those go for a little bit more. While we wait for these, let's see if there was any more chats going on here. Comments. What drink would you recommend to go with this dish? Oh man, that's a really good question. Let's see. I would say like a mezcal old fashioned, maybe. I do have some mezcal, and I guess I may have to make that later on. I don't know. A little hat is little heat is not going to hurt. Never applies to chocolate chip cookies or eggs. Yeah, when we saw America do his eggs, I mean, it looked like that they went to the sun and came back. Right? They were pretty much sort of not sort of recognizable as eggs anymore. Glossary char totally burnt. No, it's there is a difference, OC. So char char is what happens before they burn, basically. So, um, but again, char is like a tasteful version of being burnt, basically. Okay, I think these are ready. Um, whoop. So now this is ready to be blended. We'll do that in just a moment here. Let's get the lid here. And we're just going to let those kind of sit for a moment. But while we do that, let's go ahead and do the corn. Um, the corn will be actually used for two different, well, actually, sort of three different reasons. Like so, most of the corn is actually going to go into the soup, but then I'm going to leave a little bit like for the garnish, and then okay, very good. And then uh, I'm forgetting the third thing. Garnish soup. Um, okay, I'm totally having a senior moment here. So sorry about that, guys. Let's flip these guys over. Actually, I don't know if I can flip that one because it has the. Well, maybe I can. Actually, you know what? That's going to throw off the reading. So let's not do that. So again, we're not really looking to cook the core necessarily. We're just looking to get some char OC. It's different from being burnt. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm still thinking about the third thing that I. Okay. You know what? Screw it. Um, it's being used for two things. It's being used for a little bit of garnish at the end, but we're also going to put it in the. Oh, you know what? Okay, okay. I finally remembered. We're actually going to take the cob here. Once this is all sort of sliced off and everything, we're actually going to take the cob and we're going to put that into the sort of soupy, brothy mixture later on. Um, so these are getting some good char on them. But yes, Boston, you did correctly identify my school, the Tennessee Vols, UTK. Doxed, but yeah, I mean, I love watching their football, their the men's basketball. Um, but both teams are really good. I mean, you know, uh, uh, football right now is in the top five. I believe the number four. We play Arkansas tonight, which I think should be a pretty easy win. But you know what? Sorry, one thing I forgot. Let's actually check on the temperature of the meter. Where did that go? Meat. So we're sitting at 127, which is still good. I think we're sort of right on track there. Let's put this back. So, guys, tell me in the chat, who are you rooting for tonight, today? Or are you more of a NFL guy or gal? Leave a comment. These are almost there. Again, we're just looking for a little bit of char. Not necessarily looking to cook these sort of all the way through. They will be cooked fully when we put them into the soup. So let's check the chat. Let's see. Peyton Manning, yes. Peyton Manning was probably the most famous guy to come out of Tennessee. He's definitely got a big forehead, that's for sure. Allen Houston, Penny Hart, yeah, exactly, boss. Yeah, I love the kernels popping off the corn, then sautéing in butter for a minute or two. Yeah. No, see, that is actually a really good, thought there. It's like a good sort of method to use. Boston, did I salt the corn first? I actually did not, but again, I'm not too worried because there's going to be a lot of spices in the soup itself. So, OC, here's what char looks like. It's not burnt, it's charred. Okay. Um, so this guy is good. I'm going to put this on the cutting board. This guy is almost there. There's still a little bit of one on that one. Uh, that side is good for that one. So I'm going to close this up like just for 2 seconds, just to get the heat going back up again. Let's see, did I get through all the chat? I'm more into tennis, golf, and martial arts. Hey, um, you know, I think there's definitely value in like all of those, but those are not well. Actually, here. I mean, I'm gonna take that back. Golf is actually really big here in the South. I like personally don't do golf or anything, but if you have money and you join a country club and whatnot, then you can definitely do that for sure. I actually live very very close to a nice nice country club actually. Doxed. So see if you can figure it out, guys. Um, but let's see. Do we have one more? Hey guys, sorry about that. Oop, I got an echo. Hey, sorry about that. OC just sent me a WhatsApp. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I accidentally pressed the backspace button on my phone, and it kicked me out of StreamYard. So the sort of annoying thing about my setup is um, I can only initiate a stream uh, on my desktop, which is all the way upstairs in my office. Um, so if I want to let myself back in, I have to go all the way upstairs and then come back all the way downstairs. Um, but so I'm back down here now. Let's flip the camera. Oop, that's not right. Uh, why do they make it so hard, man? It's hard. Okay. I'll try not to hit the backspace button, guys. Sorry about that. Um, while these peppers and tomatoes are still hot, I think I will go ahead and blend them. Um, let's just check this real quick. It is getting a little too hot for my liking. Let's just close that then up a little bit. Close that one up. Um, and I'm actually going to check the temperature of the chicken real quick. 135. Okay, we have about 20 degrees to go. So what we'll do now is I will. Eh, let's. I don't know where to put you guys. Sorry. Um, let's do it like that real quick. Um, so you might be wondering, why do I have a sand mixer out here? What on earth could Logan be doing with that? Well, that's actually to shred the chicken. Uh, you see sort of like the plebeian way that sort of people do, where they have two forks and they kind of scrape it, sort of each breast and whatnot. And no, that's for losers. You need to use a. Let's see. Is this a good angle, guys? Um, all right. So let's start this up. And I actually don't have like the top lid part here, so I'm just going to cover with a glove here. Let's start on low. Sorry, guys. I know that was probably like really loud, but but that's all right. Um, so this is actually like pretty nice and thick. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna slice up these corns here, or not, to sort of take the kernels off the cob. Um, we're gonna let this sit right here as is, um, and then we're actually gonna start making the the actual chicken. Um, only only sort of 1 hour in, right? So let me go back to the chat real quick. Uh, Boston, you're actually fairly close, but I won't reveal how close you are. Smartphone, love a good dinner in the dark. Yeah, 9 watching 6. Hey, thank you, Essie. Appreciate it. Make sure you use a towel with hot liquids. Yeah. Logan, I use white beans blended in as well to thicken it. Hey, that is actually a really good comment there, Boston. I do have some black beans that I'm going to be using, but that's more for the actual what do you call it? The actual sort of soup itself. Here, let me just make sure the angle's good real quick. Okay, so we're getting close on the chicken. I'll pull those off here in just a little bit. Yeah, that's a good angle. Let's go with that. What I'll do now, I should really have another bowl out here, but I'll grab that here in a moment. Let's go ahead and slice off corn kernels. Again, we're going to season these a bit more later on. Again, we're not throwing these away. We're not throwing this away because this is actually going to be thrown into the soup to get a bit more flavor out of them. Of course, towards the end, we're going to take them out. But if you have like scraps like that, just throw it into the soup. It's going to add a lot more flavor. So that one's ready. But how about congrats to Jeff yesterday? Jeff got a really nice RM 30-1 or something like that. I really do not know the first thing about RMs. They're just so incredibly sort of out of my league that I don't even bother to, uh, read up on them or learn about them. But we have a lot of fortunate folks here in the community that are able to own them, and more power to them for sure. I've seen the only RM I've seen in person was actually Cars's RM in Las Vegas. I think he brought it to Napa too, but I can't remember. Um, okay, so we've gotten the kernels off. But what I'll do now, I'm actually just going to go grab a quick bowl, and I'm going to put those in there, and we'll use those later. So I'll be right back. Something I should have got while I was in there was actually a bench scraper. Bench scraper is more commonly used in baking for like shaping dough and whatnot. But it's also a great tool to kind of do what I'm doing now, like lift things into a bowl. Um, So give me a moment here. I'm sure OC is like, just be done with it, just pick it all up. Whatnot. Uh, again, sort of not everything has to be fast. It's nice to take your time and enjoy what you're doing. Um, but anyway, again, we're going to save these. These are going to be used later on. Um, what we actually need to do now is make the tortilla part. Um, so I mentioned earlier that we'll be, again, doing the same thing that we did before. We're going to be making our own tortillas. We still have sort of plenty of masa left over from last week's cook. So I figure, why not? Um, why not just, you know, use some again? Let me just make sure. Let me check my thing here. You know what? I bet the chicken is about ready. Let's check on that real quick before we get back into. Yeah, okay, okay. We got to pull them off. They went over just a little bit, like they're still sort of at like the 160 mark, but we definitely need to pull those off. So I need another plate. Actually, you know what? No, I don't need another plate. I need to put them into this mold because we're gonna mix these things, right? So give me one second. I think my thing fell over there. That's all right. Let me put on a glove. Oh, it's probably you guys can't see this right now, but I'll be just a moment. So hang on with me. So here's a quick peek of the chicken dripping with goodness. And let's take the probe out. We don't want that to be sliced up. What I'll do now actually is let's move all this over. Ooh, almost dropped it. So there's sort of like these grippy sort of suction cups at the bottom. Um, and they didn't want to let go, but when I finally lifted it, it lifted a bit more than I wanted it to. But, so let's put this here, plug this in. And we'll show you guys the magic of what I'm doing here. I know, like, if you've never done this before, it might look a little bit weird right now, but let me position the camera a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. So again, instead of actually, here, I'll just hold it. Instead of shredding it with a fork, we will shred it with the stand mixer. So let's kind of increase that a little bit. We're really going now. That's pretty much the consistency that I want there. So let's leave it as is. Let's I mean, we might chop up a little bit of that, but sorry, my meter is freaking out on me. Anytime that anytime that the probe gets close to where your target temperature is, it will constantly ding you like, "Hey, take it off, take it off, take it off." Um, which kind of annoying, but I can see how it would be helpful too. Um, so let's put you guys back. Sorry, it's hard to make room here. Okay. Okay. Let's get back to making making the dough. And one thing that I will do actually, just real quick, let's preheat the grill. So this is what we're going to be using to do the actual tortillas on. Sometimes I really got to look just to see if they're actually on because all right, let's go with that. Yep, they're on. Okay. Let's let that preheat, and then by the time that we're done proofing and everything, um, we'll be ready to actually fry those up. So I'll check the where did my phone? Oh, here it is. Let's check the angle real quick. Okay, the angle's fine. Oh, the bee just stung me in the butt or something. It feels a weird pinch. Um, it's too late for bees like to be out. Like we're in like the first week of it's like the first week of October. The bees need to be gone and like hibernating and whatever, or whatever bees do. I don't know. So we're looking for about maybe like a cup's worth of masa. But we don't really need a lot here. Again, we're not actually going to be like eating off of these. This is more just for well, I mean, it's like it's in the name of the soup, sort of a tortilla, a chicken tortilla soup. So this is roughly sort of how much I have. And we're gonna get some hot water now. So I'll be right back. Got some hot water here for the masa. Um, last time that I did this, and I actually kind of burned myself a little bit. Like I actually made the water a little too hot. So what I did was I had it on a boil, um, but then I ended up like taking it off the heat for like the last like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So I mean it's still hot for sure, but it's not going to be as hot as it was last time. So let's go ahead and add our initial masa in. Um, I can't remember. Did I use gloves for this last time? I might. You know what? Let me go grab some gloves real quick, just to make this a little bit less messy. So I'll be right back. we're ready. So let's mix this around. And we're just kind of looking for like a shaggy, well, I mean, I guess a bit more shaggy than a shaggy dough. Or a bit, so again, it's like a bit more wet than like a shaggy dough. Um, let's add a little bit more. And I'm going to let that sit for a moment just to let it cool down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys are enjoying so far. Again, I think this one is a lot more involved than my previous cooks. I think my previous cooks have been a bit more like there's a lot of stuff in the beginning and it's sort of exciting, but then there's a lot of waiting that goes around. So I'm trying to pick dishes that there's something going on like at all times, I guess, so that it's a bit more engaging, I guess. Um, so yeah, so let's see. Still a bit hot. I'm gonna give that just a few more seconds, but yeah, but again, I'm picking I'm trying to pick dishes that like there's something going on like at sort of all times, just so that it's a bit better for the audience at least, right? Um, this is getting better. So what I'm trying to do now is just make one big ball. See how much I can get it to cling. I think we will need just a little bit more water. So I'll give that a minute to cool down. But yeah, I mean, guys, if you want me to see, or if you want to see me cook something, you know, definitely sort of drop in the chat. I do have yeah, like an email actually. I believe it's Logan Hall's grill streams at gmail.com. So if you have ideas for what you want to see me cook or against what I should cook, uh, definitely sort of reach out to me and and we'll see what we can do in terms of that area. I'm looking at my other grill right now, and it's actually getting at a good temperature here. So I'm going to turn this down just a bit. Yeah. So that'll be nice and hot when we're ready. But let's go back to this masa and kind of finish this masa up real quick, or the dough at least. Yeah, let's put you guys. Yeah, I think that's a good spot. All right. So I think we added just a bit too much of water. So when you do too much water, just add a bit more masa, a bit more flour. So again, I'm looking for a nice ball here, just a nice ball of dough. Just a bit more of the masa. Again, there's really no sort of an exact sort of measurements here. This is more just you kind of play it by ear and you adjust as needed. Again, if it's too wet, add in more masa. If it's too dry, add more water. But so I think that's pretty much where I want it to be. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to heat up a cloth, uh, you know, with some hot water, and then what I'll do is I will. Sorry, had trouble taking off that glove there. I will cover it with the hot towel. So I'm gonna go heat this towel up real quick, and we're just gonna let it like kind of proof in there for maybe like 5 or 7 minutes. Okay. I have actually I need to probably wring this out a little bit. Don't want it to be like actually dripping on the dough because then it's gonna be too much. We just want it to be nice and warm. Okay. I'll put that over here for now. And we're gonna form those into balls later on. My grill over there is looking good and sort of where it needs to be. What we're now going to do is we're actually going to fry the tortillas when they're done cooking over here. Um, so I know that Diego mentioned like I guess it was sort of like in the last week. He doesn't like the corn tortilla when it's fried, but again, think of this as more like a chip and not like a tortilla. So it's got to be crunchy, right? Um, so I've got some I've got some oil here, and we're gonna turn this on and let this get heating up here while we're doing the tortillas on the other grill. Um, let's put that off to the side. Last week, I was um, I was using this for a moment, and it ended up being for like something. I'm actually ran out of gas last week, and I was wondering why it was so like cold and stuff. But anyway, I went on the old trusty Amazon and I got some more uh, sort of canisters basically. So what I was looking for was fire. So let's so let me just make sure that this is lined up correctly. I think I'm getting a call here. Hey Mathis, what's up? Hey, I'm doing a grill stream right now. Oh, okay, okay. All right, bye. Mathis, yo, Mathis, bro, I'm doing a grill stream, yo. Can't be calling me while I'm grilling. No, 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 against for Mathis. Mathis is cool. Uh, no worries, Mathis. No worries. Sorry, I could not get that engaged, but okay, it's on now. So we're gonna let that dough proof for maybe just like another few minutes, and then we'll start letting it form into balls here. Um, I do actually want to turn down the heat a little bit more here. So I mean, I definitely want this hot, but I don't want it too hot. Um, So in a moment here, I'm going to position it like this. Let's actually read the comments here while we're waiting for that. Waiting for the dough proof. Boston says got to run. Thanks, Logan. Looking forward to rewatching later. Perhaps this makes me an old man, but I never eat corn on the cob anymore. Always slice it up. Well, you know what, Rose. So the corn is going to be kind of serving three purposes here. It's actually going to be so there's a little bit that's going to be used for some garnish at the end. There's also because like 90% of it is actually going to be like in the actual soup itself. But the other part of this is the actual like cobs themselves, so where the corn sort of used to be. I'm putting that into the soup to let it sort of like get that like again so like that corn flavor in the soup as well. SC says I do the same thing, Rose. You got to admit though, it tastes a little better diving right in. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Nine up. Hey, nine up, those guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. 100%. That's what she says. Commenting on Logan's not so fast. Yeah, exactly. Ryan Singer. Hey, good to see you, brother. Lucky number Tim. Penn State 24, UCLA 3. Nice. In Los Angeles, not very good, I feel. Thank you, Lucha, for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. And again, I do so really appreciate you guys joining on a football heavy day. I'm sure that you probably have this on and you're probably watching some other game in the background, which is what I would do, personally, and if I was in your shoes. So, guys, thank you so much for watching here. I think this is at a good temperature now for us to actually um, make the tortillas. I do have a little bit of practice, sort of under my belt from when we did this last week. So what I'll do is I'll actually take you guys back over here real quick. Um, I'm quickly running out of room here, but no, I hope that doesn't overheat my phone. But let's toss that for a moment. We don't need the water anymore. Let's kind of clean up our work surface here. Again, we're saving this for the soup later on. So anyway, let's go ahead and oh yeah, this is proofing over here. It didn't rise all that much, but that's okay. Um, so and this is just a big ball. That's also what she says, but let's go ahead and start tearing this off into kind of even size balls here. Hopefully that's showing up on the camera here. Or maybe I should sit down. So we're just going to put those here. So guys, if you didn't tell me earlier, who is your team? Who are you rooting for? What's the score? Give me the deets in the chat. Again, my team is the Tennessee Volunteers, ranked number 4 in the nation right now. So we're looking good. We're playing Arkansas tonight. Arkansas definitely does have a good offense. I don't know much about their defense, and don't know if it'll stand up to ours. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that this is sort of like the first year that we're doing the 12-team playoff, which kind of gives Tennessee a chance to get back into the national title. You guys didn't see any. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think the 12-team playoff bracket is going to be really interesting. And I think that's just going to make it a lot more exciting than just like the standard sort of 14 bracket that we've had in the past. So um, anyway, so this is the last one. These are not all super even, but again, it doesn't have to be even. What we're doing here is we're just simply um, getting these to a point where we can get them flattened, and we're going to just grill them on the griddle here. So the next thing we got to do is we're going to let's see, we're still on. Yes, we're still on. Next thing we're going to do is make some tortillas. So I have a tortilla press out here. Again, not a lot of room I'm working with, unfortunately, but here's the press. And I personally think it's just easier to just do uh, that cast iron is hot. It's sitting in the sun. I think it's easier just to get two plastic bags, do it this way. Let's see. Okay. I found that it's actually here. Let me make sure that this is in the frame. No, no, it's not really in the frame. Okay. Shout out to Pam. Pam does not sponsor the show, but hey, if they want to, they can. Um, yeah, that's a good spot. Okay. Um, so I'll just put this on like that, and let's see what the first one comes out as. Yeah, I definitely, I definitely did not mean to put that in the sun. That is some hot cast iron. I might just use my glove here real quick. So, not a very good fitment here. So some of it actually got on the top here, but it um, doesn't really bother me because again, these don't have to look perfectly pretty and all that. The only thing that matters is that these can be sliced up and sort of act as like actual chips later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this guy on the grill, and we're gonna give that 45 seconds, like a minute per side. And while that cooks, I'm gonna just do the next one. So roughly the same thing happened. That's all right. Let's check how this first one's doing. I brought a stack of out. Not quite fully browned yet, uh, but it's not sticky. So that's kind of the main thing, right? We got one more comment that came in. Let's check that. Yo, 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 it's Mathis. Yo, hey, Mathis, how was Jeff last night, man? That was pretty sick to see you there in person with him. So thank you for giving us that. That's what entertainment. Mathis, just to catch you up to speed, we're doing chicken tortilla soup. What I've already done is I've already grilled a lot of the peppers. The peppers have been blended into kind of a soup base. We're now doing the homemade tortillas, and these will be kind of like sliced up and then fried. So let's check. Yeah, so we still need a bit more char on that one. Um, I think we have room for about one more, so I'm gonna make another a tortilla real quick. Yeah, I think that one might be a little bit too thick actually, but we're just, we're just gonna go with it. I'm gonna crank up the heat a little bit more. I think they could use a bit more char. Let's see. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable, but true, Mathis. Um, yeah, I mean, the only time that I've seen an RM in person was Cars and Chronos. He brought one to Las Vegas last year. He's got like a rose gold one that um, has like a black strap. I mean, again, again I do not know anything about like the RM numbers or anything, or I mean, of course, I've heard of the Nadal and like the Bubba Watson and all that, but I've never really bothered going into too much research with them, just because they're just so out of my range. Um, so uh, let's see. So anyway, we'll continue to let these get a little bit more char. I'm going to go ahead and make the next tortilla, and we'll start putting some of these back into the bowl for them to kind of stay hot. So I'll be right back in this moment. So I mean, I just checked the temperature of the oil. A bit hotter than I want it to be. I want it to be around like 350 ish. It's closer to 400 right now. I'm gonna actually just turn off the heat. Yeah, or just sort of put it on like the lowest possible setting here. So I think that one's fine to go ahead and put back into the bowl. All right, let's make some room here. Got a bit of char on that. This is a big boy right here. It's kind of in the shape of like the U.S., like the Florida there, Florida crew, and then we got Texas and all that. But um, sorry, I'm just cleaning up my tortilla sticks. Hey guys, sorry about that. My phone overheated. This happens about like once per stream, unfortunately. So, um, but I'm back now, and back in business. So, um, I need to go flip those other tortillas. Um, I think I want to say there's like two or three more after that. But again, we're gonna fry these, and they'll be kind of like our at the base of the soup, but then it's also going to be more like for garnishment as well. Too. So, all right. So these might actually be a bit more done. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I'm not on camera yet. Uh, Oh, and I gotta put this back into more settings, camera, back camera. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. So let's flip these. It's actually turned out all right. I'm gonna actually put the camera over here in the shade a bit more, because I think that's why it was overheating. It was over there in the sun. Got another tortilla ready to go. I'm gonna put these in the bowl. Hard to get this guy. Two more tortillas to go. So this is probably like the most sort of perfect one today. Pretty nice and round. We got room for one more. All right, this one's not that bad either. So last of the tortillas, guys. So we're almost to a point where we're gonna fry these. Um, I'll actually put you guys back over here where we're gonna do the frying. Just check the temperature of the soil. Yeah, that's better. I mean, not quite where I want it, but sorry, I accidentally touched the very tip of the uh, of the probe, and it burnt me a little bit, but that's all right. Um, so let me get one more like bowl to actually put the finished tortillas, or sort of like the fried tortillas in real quick. So give me 1 second, guys. Got another bowl here. That's what we'll put the fried ones in. Actually, you know what? We'll just actually put the fried ones on the cutting board here, and then we're going to put the chopped up ones in here. So these are ready to be flipped. All right. Yeah, so we got a few more. I mean, maybe it's like another minute or two to go on that one there. And then we're going to slice these up and then kind of have like tortilla strips, basically. And we're going to fry those up, take those out, and then we'll kind of like salt those up. So that's another thing. Like when you're frying something, you definitely want to salt it like straight after it comes out of the oil because that kind of gives it a bit more. I mean, if you were to salt it like later on, like the salt is not really going to adhere as well. It's like it really likes heat and it kind of likes just like the moisture. So just a pro tip: anytime you're frying something, salt it immediately afterwards, sort of like as you're putting it on like the cooling rack or whatever, right? Um, so I think these are pretty much ready here. Let's put that in here. Okay, we've got our tortillas. Um, so what I'll do now is we're going to slice these up into strips. So I'll put you guys here. Yeah, that works. I'll put you guys there, and then sorry, uh, there's not a lot of room to work with. So sometimes it's a challenge to find space for everything, but oh well. Um, Let me do a test one here. Like, so this is like a small strip. I'm just going to throw this in and see how that turns out when we fry it. Like, just to get an idea of sort of like how long we're going to fry for and whatnot. Um, so actually, I will turn that back over here real quick so you guys can see that. I'm going to turn the heat back on just a bit. Actually, the heat went off. Yeah, I mean, I think I actually brought it down a little too low. The heat went out. Here we go. I was looking for my fire here. Let's see. Let's. All right. Because I feel like it might be a little bit too cool now. Let's get the temp gauge out. Yeah, this is barely hitting like 300, so it needs to be closer to take a 350. So that's good. That's why you always do a test tortilla first, or sort of like a test sort of anything before you actually fry it. So I'll put that back right here. Got all these tortillas to chop now. Okay, that's a good angle. So I'm going to try to line these up pretty evenly with each other. Just sort of thin strips here, like so, right? So this is how our test guide turned out. Not sure if you can see that, but that's probably pretty, yeah. Yeah, so that's gonna be crunchy enough for us. I just want to get this up to actually like maybe close up to 370, because when you actually put a lot of volume into the oil, the temperature of the oil will drop. Um, so I'm gonna kind of crank up the heat just a little bit more, and we'll kind of periodically check that temperature until we hit about 370-ish. $340. So we're almost back to 350. Probably in another 30 seconds that'll be ready. I think everybody has kind of started to head out from the stream again. We've been going for about sort of 2 hours now, so I mean, I don't blame you guys. But again, I figure sort of I will offer this sort of service to um, those that sort of have nothing else to do and they just want to watch something. So we're now sitting at close to 360, 363. Yeah, okay. I'm going to kill the heat again, and then we're going to drop some in. So let's just start with like a small amount, and then like I don't want it to get sort of too sort of overflowing or anything, but so we'll just see how this batch does, and then if we need to increase the temperature, we will. If we need to lower it, we'll just kind of give it some time to hang out a bit. While this cooks, I'm actually going to check my recipe I typed up. So guys, just to give you some perspective on where we are, we're on step 11 of 22. So again, it's like I said, that's not so that's not necessarily like to scare you guys off or anything. But the last for like 10 steps are going to go by very quickly. So don't fear. And crank the heat up just a little bit more. Yeah, so you're starting to hear the crunch. These are frying up nicely. I don't think we have any more chats, but that's all right. Again, I do appreciate you guys sticking around. And for those of you that were here earlier, but had to duck out. So I think these are pretty much there. I'm gonna crank the temperature back up just a little bit more. I think it dropped. You know what? Actually, let's just check the temperature right now. Yeah, so it definitely dropped. So we're about like 320 right now. So let's do this. Let's take this first batch out, and then we'll give it time to kind of heat back up again. But again, so this is what the finished result, nice and crunchy. See, see, do you hear that little sort of as it hits the bowl? It's crunchy. So that'll be nice. I might just have to have sort of one of those as a snack and see how they taste. But um, let's see. Did the fire go out? I can't tell if I've already blown through one bottle of the oil. Sorry, of the fuel. So let's just see if it's going up or down. Oh, you know what? Okay. Okay, so it is going back up. So we're good. Yeah. So let's give that like 30 seconds and then we'll do the other batch. Oh, you know what? I didn't even salt the ones that I just got out. Kind of being a hypocrite, right? That's pretty tasty. I just tried one for myself. Let's check the temperature again. 340, 350, 360. So I think we're ready to put some more in. So it's important not to overcrowd this because, again, it's going to lower the temperature pretty drastically. Like it's probably going down like to like 320 ish right now. You kind of want it to stay at that. That's like the 350 range. Um, so we'll do one more batch after this one, but again, shouldn't take too long to fry these up. Let's give it like another 30 seconds or so. Starting to get crunchy. Yeah, just a few more seconds on that. All right, I declare those done. I'm gonna let that get back up to temperature. Um, when I'm done with this, we're actually gonna go ahead and put on the Dutch oven on, and then 2 hours into the stream, we'll actually start cooking the the soup itself. But again, the soup doesn't take very long at all to make. Um, I mean, sort of everything comes together in maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna finish it off actually back on the Kamado Joe, and that's going to kind of give it like that. That's like the hickory flavor that we were talking about earlier. Um, so let's check the temperature of our oil. Okay, it's definitely there. Yeah, it might actually be a little too hot now. I'm gonna kind of kill the heat a little bit. Um, but let's do this last batch real quick. So we'll let that go maybe 2 minutes. So who's still with us, guys? Let me check my other phone real quick. Hey, we still have 7 watching. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys. These get rewatched a lot. Yeah, definitely, Mathis. Thank you. Time, effort, and dedication Logan puts into these dishes. Live stream demonstrates how much he loves what he does and enjoys sharing it with all of us. Kudos, brother. Hey, thank you. Thank you, OC. I do appreciate that. And again, thank you for those 7 of you still sort of hanging on with me. Um, I'm guessing we'll probably do another 30 to 40 minutes before we actually are done with this dish. Oh, but you know what? I actually did not factor in the 45 minutes of cilantro chopping. Uh, so might have to add a bit more time to that. But again, I think these are pretty much there. Let's give it just another second or two. I think that's pretty much there. So let's put these guys in. And this is what we're left with, guys. Homemade. Ooh, those are hot. uh, homemade chicken. So sorry, homemade tortillas, then fried up into slices. So those are nice and crunchy, better than anything you'll find at a store or even a restaurant. Because I don't know how many Mexican restaurants are actually doing their own, or begin sort of frying their own tortillas. Um, anyway, I need to make the treacherous task of moving the hot oil off the eye of this, and we're going to uh, put the Dutch oven on, and then we're actually going to put everything together. So bear with me as I make this slightly unsafe move. I mean, again, sort of ideally, you would just wait until everything cools down, but I don't want to keep you guys here for 4 hours. So I'm going to be very careful. I'm just going to put it over there, or at least just down here. Okay. We're going to let that sit on the concrete there. And now it's time for this. Oh, sorry, you guys aren't actually seeing that. Okay, so now it's time for the Dutch oven. I'm going to light this up again real quick. All right. While this preheats, we're going to dice up a few veggies here. And I need to clear out a spot from all this messiness on the cutting board. I'll show you guys the cutting board once it's all cleaned up. Later this evening, I'll do a big old cleanup session. All right. That's mostly clean. So we're back to the cutting board. Not the drawing board, but the cutting board. Let's see real quick. You know what? I need to get some bacon. But you know what? I'll do the bacon last. Main thing we need to chop up right now is the onion, serrano chilies, garlic, and we'll do the cilantro later. But we don't need to do that right now. But there was also actually leftover poblano right here. We'll chop that up too. I'm gonna turn down the heat so that doesn't get too hot. But all right, so I think you guys can see me all right. Put that over there. Let's do the poblano first. Again, we're just looking for kind of a rough chop. That's good enough. For the serranos, I'm actually going to do these a bit finer. Put those off to the side. Let's do the onion. Peel off the first layer or two. Okay. Funnest one of them all. Garlic. It's always very messy, very papery. Probably do like 4 cloves. You know what? Let's do 5 cloves. Never not have enough garlic. Right? So let's scoot these off to the side. I thought my phone was ringing for a second, but it's not. So again, I think I've mentioned this before, but you can use the knife to actually help you get off the sort of papery skin of the garlic. I'll go ahead and do this for the rest. I'm just sort of cutting off the ends, smushing it, tossing the paper. I think I got stung by like a sweat bee. If that's all right. OC, can you believe that we're not even to the cilantro yet? He's a maniac. The final one. Again, I just kind of smush it and it peels right off. So I don't do any of that like fancy, like you're basically treating it like an onion and you slice like little bitty slice. I I don't do that. I just it's a bit of paper. I just kind of rough chop everything and then start to more final chop it. Yeah, there's that beat of somewhere. It's a good size for me. Finally, we need some bacon. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab the bacon real quick. Put this back. All right. And the bacon will go in first. And I'm gonna go grab actually no no. I don't need that. I was about to grab like a ladle, but I really don't need that until later. Yeah, unfortunately the heat I think was killed again, so that's all right. Starting to get a sizzle now. But let me can I push okay. So we're already up a little bit. Let me actually push you guys. No, that's actually worse. Yeah, I think it's better if it's up here. There we go. That's a pretty good angle. So bacon first, and then All right, so what we'll do is we're gonna let the bacon do its thing a little bit. We're then gonna do the onion, the poblano, serrano, beans, um, garlic, and one other thing, but well, we will worry about that later. How's the heat going, guys? Okay, so thankfully, it was still on. No sort of cutting away due to heat, unfortunately, or, which is good, I would say. But I think I'll add just a touch of black pepper. All right, so if Lucha's still there, Lucha, what is the game score? Or did the game already end? Let me know in the chat. Back this up just a little bit. Bacon is just about there. Another few seconds there, and then we're going to pop in the poblano and onion and serrano. We'll do the garlic a little bit later because we don't want that to burn. Let's go ahead, start adding this in. I'm going to let these sweat down just a little bit. And then we will add in the beans. Then I'll add in the corn, and then we'll finally do the garlic. I do need some cinnamon coming up, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. All right, throw in the beans. Let's do most of the corn. I will leave some of it back. Let's finish off with the garlic. So let's add in some spices. I'm gonna go back to the salt. Cumin, ground coriander. You, again, you use this more for like sort of Indian dishes, but you can also use it for like a Mexican dish too. Paprika, and this secret ingredient, cinnamon. A little bit more than I wanted, but that's all right. All right. Okay. So what we'll do now is we're going to go ahead and add the chicken stock. Okay, guys, do you remember the actual sort of cobs left? We're going to drop those in now. And we're also going to drop in 2 cayenne peppers. Those are just going to add more to the flavor. I want to make sure my heat is still going here. I think it has a tendency to starting to get some bubbles there. Let's see. So really, the last thing we got to do is add this pepper mixture in. Where my tongs go? Oh, here we go. So let's just mix that around, make sure it's all nicely incorporated. So guys, now what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to put it back on the Kamado Joe. I think what I want to do real quick before we do that though, is actually put a few more lumps of charcoal in and maybe like one more piece of wood. And this is going to go for about like 15 to 20 minutes. All right. Oh, you know what, guys? I almost made a mistake. We didn't add the chicken. What would it be without chicken? That would have been pretty silly, huh? So the chicken's going to warm up again. Well, sort of all the flavors kind of meld together. Now we can put our gloves on. Yeah, again, I'm going to add in a bit more charcoal. And again, I'll bring you guys over here in just a second. Okay. Put you guys right here. Okay. Guys, so we're going to close this up. This is going to go here for 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to plate this up. So it's almost been 3 hours, guys. I think we're getting close to my record here. I think my record is like 2 hours 47 minutes. That was actually last weekend. So yeah, I mean, for those of you that have stuck around, hey, thank you a ton. What I'm gonna do now is while this here, I'm actually gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. Uh, chop it up. What the fuck is going on? Oh yeah, hey Mathis. Um, no, so Mathis, so the so the corn cobs are going to be there just like the flavor. Like we're going to take those out at the end, so don't worry. Um, but what I'll do now, I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes, and you guys are going to watch me clean up. 20 minutes. There we go. So I'll face the camera like this, and we're going to clean up here. I think I'll actually open up these vents just a little bit. What's the temperature? 300? Yeah, that's fine. Getting some good smoke on that. Lost my wood chunks. Let's put that back. Thankfully, I mean, I do have like a trash can on here, which is nice. So we already chopped the cilantro last, so I mean, I will keep that out here, but uh, this is the side that you guys don't see. All the cleanup involved. It's a lot. Let's see what this is looking like. Yeah, that's a little hot for me. Let's close that vent. And I'm gonna close this top one too. I don't necessarily want it boiling here. I just want it to be sort of like a light simmer. And it was boiling, so this is what we're gonna save for the garnish. The probe goes well. Spice cart goes back in. Go see, it's your favorite part. Time for cilantro. I'm just gonna wipe all this up later. Let's get everything looking a little nicer right now. Also brought a bowl and a ladle here that we'll use for the very end. Cutting board. Let's check on this real quick. That's a nice simmer. Maybe it's just a little bit more than I want, but it's a pretty good simmer. Let's check how much time we have left here. Got 9 minutes, guys. I think that gives us just enough time to chop some cilantro. OC, 3 hours later. I hope you are still here, brother, because this is the moment you've been waiting for. See, how does that look? Yeah, that's a good look. I'm also going to use some of this onion here for garnish too. All right. Let's put our bowl off to the side. All right. I'm going to do the onion real quick.
Just a very fine mince. There you go. See, just a very, very fine mince. That'll be for garnish. All right, so this is the point where OC starts popping his popcorn. Because he's been waiting 3 hours for this, guys. The moment is here. "45 minutes to go, OC. That's how long it takes to chop this cilantro." All right. Wasn't quite 45 minutes that time, but I think that's the consistency I want. Of course, we'll also do some lime. I will make just a quick spot where we're going to put the soup. Don't necessarily want to burn table, but let's go ahead. Yeah, 4 minutes left. I mean, so we're good. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that alarm. We're going to finish things off, guys. I know it's been a long one, but hey, thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to get my gloves on. And I'm going to move you guys closer here, too. Okay. So, Mathis, you were getting confused earlier. You were asking, like, hey, why didn't I chop all this up? These are more for flavor, more for the aroma. So we're not going to use these anymore. These are done. We've extracted everything we can out of these. And look at that. That is a mighty fine looking soup if I ever saw one. Let's just get a close up of that real quick, guys. Check it out. That is the finished product. Now, we're going to dress up the bowl. We're going to make things a little bit fancy here. So first thing that goes down, let's kind of just clean that out just a little bit. First thing that goes down, some of our homemade tortilla chips, or strips, I guess I should say. Let me get a quick shot of uh, this just sort of by itself real quick. Now we're going to ladle some of our soup on. Let's get some more broth in there. Got to wipe off the side, guys. It's got to be perfect. Now, gonna put that as a little garnish. And let's go ahead and do a line of our onion. A line of our corn that we saved. And a bit of cilantro. Let's finish with some lime. And we'll finish with a few more tortilla chips. And that, my friends, is my take on chicken tortilla soup. So I'm actually going to bring this inside and I'm going to close things out inside for you. So let me turn off the camera real quick. I'll put you guys down here. Let's put that in the sink. And I'll go get the bowl. I'll be right back. That's the sound of the bowl hitting the counter. Let me clean this up just a little bit. When you're taking the picture for Instagram, it has to be perfect, guys. Let me get one more tortilla strip. camera. I unfortunately, sorry guys, I'm accidentally clicked out of the stream, but just gonna decorate this a little bit more. Okay, guys, that was 3 hours worth of work here. Uh, again, so I mean, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I am thoroughly pooped. I'm just gonna take a few glamour shots here. Okay. Now I'll give you guys a close up. This is what we ended with, guys. I'm very, very proud of this. Again, this is probably my most intense or sort of like my most intensive cook yet. But again, I think it was worth all the effort. The only way to know is to taste it. So I'm gonna grab a spoon. Let's try it, guys. A little bit of chicken. Let's get a bit of a crunch here too. Yeah, that's usually one of the best things I've ever made. Just insanely flavorful. Hi. Wow. Guys, if you're ever in Nashville and you want to hang out, this is what I'll make for you. But if you're willing to wait 3 hours, then it's all yours. But guys, again, thank you so much for sticking around. This was a really fun one. Again, very sort of labor intensive, but I think it was worth it in the end. Again, insanely delicious, just incredibly flavorful. Um, and guys, again, just sort of thank you so much for support. For those of you that are still hanging on, if you could please subscribe. If you give me a like, if you leave me a comment, that's really going to help me out. So again, thank you so much for your time, guys. This has been a really fun one. And I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday and a great rest of the weekend. Take care.